The Buccaneers have to do this if they want to win going forward. There is a lot of questions both on the offense and defensive side, just coming out of a 3-game losing stretch and then barely escaping with a win against the Cardinals. And now there's a question of, do we have the pieces? Do the Buccaneers have enough, coaching-wise, player-wise, to make a run at the end of the season here? I'm Sebastian with Buccaneers Digest. Welcome back. And, welcome into a very... the excitement of this season has definitely wavered a little bit, hasn't it? At the beginning of the first half, things were awesome. Baker was at the top of the MVP leaderboards. The Bucs were, had one of the best records in the NFL. And now all of a sudden, it's like the Bucs are an afterthought. They're like, most teams look at the Bucs on their schedule and be like, that might be a tough game, but we can win. My confidence has been shaking in terms of our ability to win any game. And I think, listen, those 3 games, they were tough opponents, but all of them have, lost other games. It's not like any of them were like unbeatable. I don't know. It's a frustrating time. And now coming off of this win against the Cardinals, I feel like a lot of people aren't very satisfied, or they don't feel reassured, I should say, about just what the Buccaneers are going to be doing for the rest of the season, because we have 3 divisional games in a row coming up, then the Dolphins, and then the Panthers to finish off the season. And so it's 5 games, and 4 of them are divisional matchups. So it's going to be interesting, to say the least. I'm excited because I feel like they're all winnable, in my opinion. But we'll see. The NFL is so weird, as we've seen. But let's just jump right into it. I don't want to waste anybody's time. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, please. We're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers. It would mean so much to do that before the Saints game this weekend. So please jump on in. We do videos almost daily. And yeah, it would be wonderful. So let's just go. Basically, to set the scene here, Scott Reynolds from Pewter Report said that after surrendering an average of 35.3 points per game over the last 3 weeks, Todd Bowles' defense allowed half of that total point total, 17 points, against Arizona. The Cardinals entered the game averaging 22.6 points per game. At the same time, the Bucs did lead 17-3 and 20-10 at 2 junctures, and then it couldn't hold the Cardinals off. That last touchdown drive was capped off by a Trey McBride scoring reception. That was concerning, to say the least, as it seemed too easy. The 4-man pass rush is still lacking. Tackling was subpar, especially in the second half, and the Bucs left several sacks out there by missing quarterback Jacoby Brissett a few times. There's still plenty of work to be done, and some improvement needs to be made over the final 5 weeks. So I know that was a lot to say, but I do appreciate the analysis of, and I was saying it on the live stream, that the missed tackling felt very un-Buccaneers-like, I should say. And just overall, I think that the team chemistry, they felt like they were more hard-hitting. They were working more together, cohesive. And it feels like now we're constantly chasing. We're constantly going after the play rather than anticipating the play. And I really am, I get it. There's criticism of Bucs or Todd Bowles' scheme. They're saying maybe he is too outdated. That typically comes from fans who don't know scheme, because Todd is actually known as one of the more innovative defensive coordinators. And I have defended him all season. I still will defend him, even though I think there's a lot of criticism that maybe not being able to win enough big games over the year and taking advantage of a weak NFC South may make him look better than he actually is. That's all very fair. I do think he's gotten better with his time management and game management in general. Sometimes his challenges are really silly, but overall, I think he's gotten a lot better. And now we're here getting healthier. We've managed to avoid a game this past week with any major injury, thank goodness. But the defense feels like it's still trying to play catch up. It's still trying to capture the magic that it had in the first half of the season. Maybe that means people have caught on to whatever Todd Bowles is doing schematically this year, and that he hasn't adjusted. That's very much a possibility, but I also think it's just a personnel problem. We got a lot of guys hurt. Kalijah Kancey was a key piece of that defensive line, who's no longer. He's on the injured reserve. We'll see if he comes back at any point this season. And, just the pass rushing aspect. Hassan Reddick's been out for a little while. He came back. Our pass rush looked a little bit better against the Cardinals. All of these factors absolutely matter. And Todd is not without fault, but I think putting all the blame on him is a bit misguided, and there's a lot more going on here than just Todd. And listen, the offense, they have their struggles. Baker's been injured. The offensive line's been injured. Josh Grizzard maybe isn't as good as I hyped him up to be at the beginning of the season. All these things, which means Grizzard might actually stick around next year. We will see. But that is now on the table instead of having to get another offensive coordinator. But talking about the defense here, I do think that the safety room is actually really good. Tyke Smith has really gone above expectations for me, playing his first year as a safety in his second season in the NFL. And then, Jamel Dean, took a decrease in his contract before the season and has wildly outperformed his expectations in that sense. We were not excited about how Jamel was looking in the preseason, and then he's looked amazing. He's playing his best season of his career right now. And Benjamin Morrison has kind of fallen off a little bit. He was looking really promising at the beginning when he joined, and now he's looking like he's on a steep learning curve. Jacob Parrish, though, absolute stud. So the secondary, I'm actually really liking. Zion, though, feels like he's fallen off a cliff. So there's just a lot of questions. I think that possibly the worst sin that the Bucs front office did this year was extending Zion. I think that he showed a lot of promise in the preseason, but it was preseason. We got all excited and wanted to take advantage of a young guy who seemed like he was still developing, and it doesn't seem to be paying off. He's getting targeted quite a bit by opposing quarterbacks and is getting burned quite often. We might have to do a video about that later, but Zion is a big hole right now and concern. Right now, the two starting cornerbacks should be Jamel Dean and Jacob Parrish. I think most people would agree with that. And then nickel being, Zion or, Benjamin Morrison or any of those guys. I mean, Parrish can play nickel as well. So, linebacking as well. Another problem that, can we, what are we going to do next season? We might have two new starting linebackers next year with Lavonte probably retiring. Sebastian Georgiev has, had moments, splashes, but overall been a really poor performance this season. I feel bad because they put all their chips down on Dennis, and it does not seem to have worked out. So I expect, Jason Licht and crew to attack linebacking both in the draft and in free agency. We'll see how that goes, though. So all these things to say that this defense right now is, I don't know if they have the players. They don't have the pieces to really be elite or be a Super Bowl caliber defense. I thought maybe they were at the beginning. I overestimated them. Kalijah Kancey and Hassan Reddick both being healthy at the same time. That's not going to be enough. I can tell you it right now. I mean, listen, they'll be great. They can make some great plays, some great stops. But I don't think that they can perform as consistently as we need them to, like a Packers defense right now with a Micah Parsons who's going absolutely berserk, or just some of these other defenses that we know can do more with less. The 49ers defense, even though we beat them, they were, reeling off of the Fred Warner injury during that game. That's a hard thing to adjust to mid-game. And then they've won tons of games in a row. So there's just all these things to consider, I'd say. Maybe Todd should get another defensive coordinator. I just trust his ability to lead the people, lead the players. I think the coaches trust him, and obviously Jason trusts him. He just got an extension before this season, and I don't hate that move. I do think people need to be aware that, listen, if you're going to fire Todd Bowles, you better have a backup plan, and don't just say, oh, let's promote Josh Grizzard. No, that's ridiculous. I've seen that floated around. That's silly. The only reason I would say let's fire Todd Bowles is if there is a candidate out there like a Mike Vrabel from the Titans who got fired, who was clearly going to upgrade this team. That is, for no reason got fired from his team. Like a Mike Tomlin, if he got fired from the Steelers, that would be a big move that Tampa could make. Because Tomlin obviously has history of the Bucs. He won the Super Bowl with us in 2002 as our defensive backs coordinator, I believe, and or like a Kevin O'Connell, obviously not having a great time in Minnesota right now, but he is a coach of the year, and he would obviously be a great candidate as well. But if I'm not seeing a name like that, then I don't want to move on from Todd. And they would obviously have to express interest in coming to us. But that's just kind of what I have to say on that. I do want to hear what you have to say, whether you agree with me or not. maybe Todd's ceiling is like a divisional round exit. I that's a possibility. Again, I can understand folks who say that he is taking advantage of a weak NFC South, but I'm not ready to jump off the ship with him. I'm just not. This is also something I want to talk about with Jamel Dean. His rankings among cornerbacks this season with 35 plus targets this year, 26.6 passer rating, which is really, really bad in terms of the quarterback. And so that's the best of any corner that's had 35 plus targets against him. 41.5% completion percentage allowed. That's first in the NFL. Minus 33.1 target EPA, earned points per average, first. 17 receptions allowed, fewest. 201 receiving yards allowed, second fewest. That is awesome. He has really had just a fantastic year. And now we have to consider, do we extend him again? I mean, like, what's going to happen here if we lose Jamel Dean and Benjamin Morrison doesn't pan out? Or Zion McCollum, the guy that we did extend, does not pan out? These are all questions that we have to ask ourselves. Scott Reynolds from Pewter Report said that the Bucs have a real chance of winning the NFC South this year just because they have done one thing exceptionally well: win the turnover battle this year. Tampa Bay is 5-2 in games in which it's won the turnover margin this year, while the Bucs are 0-2 in games that they have lost the turnover margin. In games where the turnover margin has been neutral, the team is 2-1. The Bucs are +9 in turnovers, tied with the Texans and Rams for the second best differential in the league, behind the Bears, who lead the league with a gaudy +17. So that's obviously the Bears right now are first in the NFC in terms of seeding, which is, who saw that coming? But it is worth noting that the Bucs are doing a pretty good job of taking away the ball and not turning it over too much. And then Joshua Quibbo from Pewter Report said that we saw glimpses of what the defense could be with an improved pass rush. We saw it again in Week 13 after Reddick returned. Jacoby Brissett was the most pressured quarterback in the league, and his effectiveness, that being this week, and his effectiveness as a passer dipped from the previous 3 weeks. Although Reddick didn't record a sack, Vita Vea and Kalijah Kancey did in the win, and Tampa Bay notched 27 pressures on 45 dropbacks by Brissett. If Kancey can come back off of injured reserve and rejoin the group with Reddick, the Bucs defense could get hot and round into form just in time to win the NFC South division and make a deep playoff run. It is worth noting, though, right now, I know this is really small text. In total defense, the Buccaneers are ranked number 22 in the league, with averaging or allowing almost 344 yards, almost 345, and 36 total touchdowns allowed. It's a rough one. Like the next highest, like the Colts, they've allowed 27 touchdowns. So that's a 9 touchdown difference between 22 and 21. So scary to say the least. The Bucs defense has not been what we've wanted them to be this year. And it's going to be a thing that really we have to work on. Listen, this is our last year with Lavonte. I don't care if people are saying that he's getting older. I don't care that people are saying that he's not the same as he was with the tackling and all of that. He's made some great plays this season for us, crucial plays that got us some early wins. And we're going to need him down the stretch. He is that leader. Antoine Winfield is that leader. Vita Vea. We have big-time leaders on this defense, but it can't be a 3-man group. There are 11 defensive players on this field. I mean, I'm glad Parrish has stepped up. He got his first career interception against the Bills in an awesome spot there. But those splash plays every now and then aren't going to be enough. We need to attack. We need to be aggressive. And this, worry that we can't blitz because our guys aren't going to be able to hold up on the end. I just feel like Todd's in a really tough situation right now because we want to be able to take risks on defense, and that involves being able to rush with 4 so that when we actually surprise with more guys rushing, they don't know what to do. And that's just not what we've been capable of. And that just means I think we need to go all in defensively this offseason. I think that there's just going to be a lot of holes to fill and a lot of things that the front office is going to need to complete. They can have all the faith in the world in their draft picks. I know they love them. They cherish them. But you just got to look at what the Cowboys did. They were one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and then they went out and made some moves to get a new linebacker, to get Quinnen Williams, and now they're actually like a really solid defense. I think that goes to show, listen, I get it. They had some draft capital to work with because of the Micah Parsons trade, but that involves risk. All of that involves risk, and it's just frustrating to see us here once again that these guys just feel like developing young talent is the way to go. I get it, but we won the Super Bowl in 2020, yes, because we had Tom Brady, but we went out and got guys to help us. We got Leonard Fournette, we got a Rob Gronkowski, we got Antonio Brown. We went out and took risks, and it paid off. I just don't think that going it this way, when we're going to have to pay Baker a big contract, is going to work the way we think it will. I don't know. This defense has to play better. They have to be better, and you can blame Todd for all you want, and there is some blame to go to him. I just think that the personnel is the real problem. But I want to hear from you guys. Do you think that it is a personnel problem or a coaching problem or both? Where do you think the percentage is, like 60% coaching, 40% players? I do want to hear you. How much do you think injuries factor in? Please let me know in the comments. I am very curious to hear what you have to say. But until the next video, guys, I'll see you then.